What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo, presented as always by Pure Options Craft Cannabis. I hope you enjoyed your 420 and, made Pure Options part of your Easter Sunday wherever you were. Pure Options has great deals at pureoptions.com. You can check them out. Download the app. It'll be right at your fingertips. Swing by any location. That's 3 in Lansing, Mount Pleasant, Muskegon, Detroit. They'd love to see you. Let them know Couch and the Roo sent you. You'll love the experience, and they'll take care of you, whatever your need is, whatever your vibe is. And if you have lots of questions, they are there to answer them as well. Our Monday afternoon show is also presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. There is nothing like a Muskox. It's what the MSU hockey team wears. It's just different than other flannels. The quality, the comfort. You'll feel it. You'll know it when you have one on, and it's great this time of year. I've been wearing pretty much nothing but Muskox flannels. Been able to be outdoors, indoors. You don't have to take it off. You're not going to start sweating when you come inside. Outside, you're going to be comfortable. If you're going to be outdoors when it's a little chilly, in the backyard, trying to, hang out, play some mini golf. I don't know what people do. What do people do when they go outdoors? Whatever people do when they go outdoors, that's what Muskox is here for you. If you're on a, maybe you're just, fishing. If you want to go fishing, wear a Muskox flannel. These are the things that you can do in a Muskox flannel. GoMuskox.com is the website, and of course the code for Couch and the Roo listeners for $15 off your flannel purchase is Fix It in Post, all one word, at GoMuskox.com. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Graham.
Things.
I
mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
What's up, buddy? How was your 420?
It's good.
Yeah. I love your live reads when you get an idea going and then you're just like, all right, I'm going to go to the well one more time. If you're wearing a Muskox and you like to go outside, whatever you do out there. Anyway, what's up, man? I was told 420 is just kind of like wearing your jersey, a jersey of a guy if you're like in your 40s. So I didn't really celebrate. I mean, I celebrated yesterday, but I didn't make like a deal out of it. Because
I feel like every day is 420 for you in some ways.
No, not necessarily.
No.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good deals, at the place.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
They get good deals that day. But yes, I mean, primarily day in, day out, I'm celebrating some sort of 420.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I was told that it's not as manly. You can't really celebrate. It's for amateurs.
I don't know why you couldn't celebrate. You can do whatever
Guy
you
named
want.
Faucet Liquor on Twitter told me, at Faucet Liquor.
Is that you're listening
Yeah.
to? Okay.
I listened to that guy only.
Okay.
He was mad about Trey Holloman transferring, and he was also calling me less of a man.
Well, there you go.
For celebrating 420.
Well,
anyway,
he'll be our spiritual guide from now on. No, look, I think April is
in the D.
I think April is maybe the best Muskox flannel month that I've thought. Like,
if you have a couple of Muskox flannels, it's good to wear them. But April primarily is ass,
right?
Weather-wise,
right.
Blows.
But that's what Muskox helps with.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to dig into our takes and yours. Some good stuff today. Some people frustrated that Dillon Tatum for Michigan State football is in the transfer portal. That was sort of the
Solari,
news this morning.
Is he pissed?
Solari, I don't think Solari cares.
I always get it secondhand, and then I have to go to Chris's Twitter feed, Solari was going at it or something like that. So that's why I played Solari.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard today that some people were getting on Solari, and Solari deserved a little of it. We'll get into that because there are some takes about that in our hot
he does
takes.
have 3 young children. I mean, that would set me off no matter what's happening in the sports world.
Yeah.
My God.
There should be you should have like a second, like on your Twitter account or Blue Sky, whatever it is, you should have like a little gold star if you have more than 2 children under 6.
You can put it in your Twitter bio next to your pronouns. He, him, 3.
And that just means you understand whatever you're saying is probably related to whatever happened in the last hour at
like
home.
we say, gambling related.
Yeah.
Kids related.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That should be it.
Wait till they grow up and hate you. Or if you watch Dateline, they grow up and hate you and kill you. It's crazy. Anyway.
Well, I guess, are you ready to
kids.
Do you want to go first on that?
I don't really have. I mean, you go ahead. Is there some Michigan State news that we're missing out on?
Okay, well, yeah. Here,
I just have all sadness, pretty much.
Okay, well, then I
don't want to get sad starting it off.
I'll start there. So Monday morning, Dillon Tatum announces he's entering the transfer portal. Michigan State defensive back who had a couple years of eligibility announced he had graduated in his Twitter post when he was leaving. And there's been a lot of different responses naturally. And, Darian Harris got on and sort of preemptively tried to caution people against being emotional about it and angry and going
That's
at
a good
him.
idea.
Yeah. Well,
How did that go?
I respect Darian's attempt.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing, and I understand that people don't want, like, one of the big arguments was how is he a Spartan dog for life if he's leaving and all this. Like, people can feel about people however they want to feel. I think one thing that is becoming clear in basketball and football and everything is college football and basketball fans, media, whatever it might be, we suck at the offseason. Players too. Everybody stinks at it. We stink at it a lot. Like, all of us have our flaws here, and we cannot get to collective bargaining fast enough to the next thing, because this lack of transparency, this sort of ambiguity, this not knowing what's coming, this sort of middle purgatory from the old way to whatever is going to be is just not working for anybody. And so I'll get into it. Let's start with Tatum. All right, here's a guy who graduated Michigan State apparently, because you do that in 3 years, which is amazing because the semesters are like 12 weeks now. I mean, how much class is that actually? But anyway,
AI.
This is spoken like an old guy who used to actually attend class and go for like 16
Did you used to
18
walk
weeks.
in the snow? They never canceled school when you were in it?
Both ways.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, back when college actually had length to the semesters and you learned something in the old days. Anyway, no, but he graduated, which is what you come to do. And he may have other ideas of what he wants to do. He may have a graduate program he wants to go to. We don't know what it is. It may be money, financially related. It may be a different football program, different football opportunity entirely. The lack of transparency there from the players, from the coaching side, it doesn't work. From the media, like people like me have to do better. People who are beat writers have to do better. People who are
Be better. Come on.
The insiders who like are extensions of the program and have everybody's ear because they do recruiting. Like, and I know it's hard to be critical sometimes, but these are the moments where we just got to be better with the transparency, the better reporting, better explaining what each case is. Because one of the things Darian Harris says is every case is different. Well, what is this case? What is that? These guys, guys like me have for a while been tiptoeing around the transfer portal, the NIL salaries, because to some degree they're still kids. And they are, I believe, a 19-year-old is different than a 26-year-old pro. And how you treat people should still be humane no matter what. But what I do think, though, as we get into this, this is big business. That's what this is. It's always been that. And the passion of the fan base is what creates the market. And so players have to understand that. And fans are going to have to understand that we're headed to something else, and they know what it is. But there's just too much not knowing what it is. Everything feels like somebody's jilting you. Everything feels like it's anti-your program. Dillon Tatum may be leaving for reasons that would annoy MSU fans. He may be leaving because where he's going is a program he wants to do. He may be leaving because there's a better opportunity with more money and somebody came at him, and that's his right. And once we get to contracts and collective bargaining, you'd know if his time was up and you had to re-sign him or keep him anyway, and it wouldn't even be a portal. But we have to get there. We're really bad at this in a number of ways. And if you go to the
so do you think the players should be more transparent? Kind
100%.
of announce when they're announcing it?
just say, this is what I want to do.
Do a video possibly saying why they did it? Would that help?
The more you do, the better. The more transparent you are, the better. But this takes better reporting. We can't freaking pussyfoot around it anymore. Like, we've got to be better with sourcing and getting. And look, I mean, if this is going to be the game now, then that's part of the game. But if you look at basketball too, I mean, we're just, the whole thing is somebody like Trey Fort, the guy coming in from Samford. The hype around him, the idea that this is some big splash. Trey Fort, I think, could be a good player at Michigan State. But this is a guy who averaged 14 points a game at a low major last year. Now, granted, they were a top 120 Ken Palm. That's a pretty good mid-major area. But still, This is not like what is being expected. We get so much hype around that kid, and then we think somebody like Kurt Tang just becomes like an afterthought. The reality is, based on where those two guys were recruited, there's a chance that Kurt Tang would play over Trey Fort next year, right? I mean, Trey Fort's a lot older and has that advantage and all that. With Garrick Normand, people get upset with Chris Solari because he tweets. And granted, this was not the most tactful tweet in the world, but he tweeted that, apparently it had nothing to do with homesickness because Garrick Normand's going to Santa Clara. And
Santa Clara's nice, though.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
And what he really wants is to play. Was he homesick initially? Yeah. Did Izzo bring up the idea that it was homesick, and that's where Solari was saying that Norman had been homesick since he got there? Yes. Izzo was wrong, though, on where he was, the reasons he was leaving. It had nothing to do with homesickness. If Garrick Normand had been playing 15 minutes a game last year, he wouldn't be leaving. He's going for the best basketball opportunity. This looks like a good one at Santa Clara. Looks like an amazing place to live.
Can't you be both, though? Can't you be homesick and bummed that you're not playing? So, I mean, you can't really come out and if I was playing more, I'd stick around. You have to kind of tactfully do it.
You don't have to go to a Texas school just because you're homesick, number one. Number two, Texas is like the size of Antarctica. Like, there are places in Texas that are 10 hours from each other. Like, just going home to Texas doesn't get you any closer than you are on a flight from California half the time anyway. Yeah. My point being, the way we respond to things, media types, fans, players, we suck at it. We suck at the college offseason right now. We just do. Underwood, the freshman quarterback for
he's
Michigan.
Fat now. What I was told.
He had, he's a guy who's barely wouldn't even be out of high school if we still had normal sports, right? Yeah. And he had a rough day at the spring game because he's a freshman. And you got Michigan State people just pissing on him like he's going to suck. Every Michigan State fan in the world would love to have that guy in the program.
Yeah.
So, think of yourself in their shoes. We just suck at the offseason. We suck at rivalries. We suck at trash talking. We suck at it. And I long for a day where there wasn't social media, where nobody gave a shit about the offseason, where you had other than reading Comparoni's Spartan Mag printout edition that came out every 2 weeks or a month in the offseason, there was just nothing. There's just nothing really out there, and you just had a good offseason. You had a good April. You had a good May. You had a good June. You had a good July. You revamped. You got excited for the season, and you go again. Because right now we just suck. We suck at it. I suck at it. You suck at it. The fans really suck at it. Players
I've gotten pretty decent at it.
Players suck at it. Everybody sucks at it. Chris Solari sucks at it. Everybody sucks. Darian Harris sucks at it. They all suck. We all suck at it. Okay. And we just need.
So shouldn't that mean we stop paying attention to it if everybody sucks?
It would be great if we did. We're not going to get there, but we got to work together on our reactions and getting to a place where there is transparency, where media are explaining things better, where players are explaining things better, where there's some sort of just understanding of what's happening, why things are happening, and what players want, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that's
how we solve it. Everyone has to stop sucking at once.
No. Well, we get to collective bargaining.
Oh,
but people just need to know. They're not.
So that won't fix Twitter then.
They're not going to stop sucking. But people just need to know that they suck at this. But we just suck collectively at it. We do. It is. We're just bad at it. And anyway, I just
sometimes you need some self-awareness, I guess.
Wanted to lead with that.
Because I feel proud of myself for not paying attention to some of these things. Some of these things that I hear about third hand and I have to go search them out. I'm like, I think I'm doing the social media thing kind of right. I got rid of Facebook. I do minimal amounts of social media now, and it's really bettered my life. Maybe if more people did that. If social media is your identity, if you need social media entirely for your platform, whatever, and I understand there are people like that, and that's your business, whatever, but the less social media you have, the better. And the funny thing is, in most media worlds like mine, it does so little for you these days. The amount of traffic driven by Twitter compared to what it was in 2015 is minuscule. Facebook. So then you can get off it then.
Well, it's still where a lot of our community is, but I don't rely on it for traffic. No, newsletters, homepage, Google, these things still drive things much more.
The good old newsletter.
The newsletter is a huge driver.
I like opening my email account on a Monday morning. Get a couple newsletters,
Huge driver.
Respond to these newsletters.
Yeah. But Blue Sky is barely a dent. Twitter doesn't do anything anymore. Facebook.
I tried Blue Sky for a week and a half. I can't. I don't know.
I like blue sky, but it's not driving anything. But that's okay. I don't mind sharing with things there. It's just people need to understand these are not necessary things in our lives anymore. If you're in the media or if you're
but what happens when you wake up in the morning? You got to pee. Maybe use the bathroom in the morning. You can't sit there bored on the toilet. Got to scroll.
Find a .com somewhere. Find a .com and read the stuff. Find a podcast.
.com.
Find a .com. All right. What is your first?
They said playoff basketball was going to be fun. I haven't really paid attention to the NBA whatsoever. And I know it's a take that's not hot or whatever, but you only have to watch the fourth quarter of these games. And even when you watch the fourth quarter of these games, and I know everybody's, the Pistons, they just don't have players with enough playoff experience. And I just think that's absolute bullshit. They were kicking the Knicks' ass for 3 quarters. You come out in the fourth quarter, you get a 5-second violation. The second possession, opening the fourth quarter, you get a 24-second shot clock violation. You don't even get a shot off. And then the Oscar Thompson, missed dunk, and everything just unraveled from there. I mean, really, does it matter if you're in the playoffs, regular season, you're playing in the backyard, you're playing any kind of game? I mean, I don't know if this team's going to even win a game in the playoffs. Then they'll win tonight, because I don't think that they're that much worse than the Knicks, right? But my God, I'm sitting there watching this game. I'm like, why did I watch 3 quarters of this shit? Can I just slide right in the fourth quarter and just check out, see what happens from there? It's like a 2-hour Dateline. It's like they don't have enough, but they tried stretching this out for 2 hours, and you could have tuned in at 10 o'clock from 10 to 11 and got everything you needed, but you sat there from 9 to 10 watching the Dateline, getting all the regurgitated shit.
So overall, I thought the NBA playoffs were wildly entertaining over the weekend.
Sure.
And
as long as you're not a Pistons fan. I'm talking about the Pistons.
Even the Pistons, though.
Yeah.
The most, so
21-0 run in the fourth. I mean, come on.
The most entertaining thing I saw this weekend, presented by our friends at Xfinity Comcast, was the Pistons being back in the playoffs. And the way it looked. And I understand the fourth quarter went to shit, right? And it went to shit as soon as they knocked the ball out of Brunson's hand and whatever. I've seen all those clips. And
that's the most shit it could go in any scenario.
It went poorly. It went poorly. But to watch the Pistons not just be back in the playoffs like the days where they get in for a round, but they really had no shot. But for 3 quarters to go toe-to-toe, to look like the team that you're like, boy, they look like the better team out there at times. Yeah. And to have that happen, and yes, they're a young team, and I think experience matters, and they had a horrible fourth quarter. They've had trouble finishing games at times, and this really bit them, and we'll see if they can correct it this year in this series. I don't think the Knicks are that much better than them. It's going to come down to, sort of mental fortitude in the fourth quarter and being smart with the ball. But to watch that, to me, to watch the Pistons again playing a 3 seed, playing a team that's, a second, third round type NBA playoff team and going toe-to-toe with them. And, this is a team that's a long way from a finished product.
Beat by campaign. Oh, my God. What a shot that guy has.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
He looks like 5-0 from American Tail, too. There are no cats in America, and the streets are always full of cheese. You ever seen that?
I have not seen that.
It's available.
But I trust you.
It's available on Xfinity.
It looks like what you're saying. Like, I don't know what you're saying, but I feel like it's probably close.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
It
just sucked ass. What are you talking about?
The ending sucked. The ending sucked.
The
fourth quarter sucked. But I'm going to tell you right now, I left that game thinking they still got a shot in this series. They're okay. Because what you're looking for in a first series is there a real matchup problem where they can't overcome it? There was some concern when you watch, the Lakers versus Minnesota. You go, this could be trouble for the Lakers. There's some matchup stuff there that's not great, right? The Pistons, you don't see any of that. You saw them collapse in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't a pound-for-pound issue. And that's what I think was exciting. It was fun to see. It was the most entertaining thing I've seen, again, presented by our friends at Xfinity and Comcast. And Xfinity wants to let you know also, history had the gold rush, then came the oil boom, then the tech boom, but right now is the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Now you can get Xfinity Internet and mobile together in one all-in plan. It's the ultimate power couple. Wi-Fi Power Boost from Xfinity Mobile gives you faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds at home and on the go, so your Wi-Fi is booming wherever you are. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet and gateway required. Wi-Fi Power Boost available to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Actual speeds may vary. Watch the Pistons game on my Xfinity stream. That's the way I do it with Xfinity. You don't even have to have the plug-in cable. You can stream cable, and I love, one of my favorite things that they do is the recordings on the Xfinity app on your phone. I think is one of the most best user experience playback. It's one of the main reasons that I've been all in on Xfinity and cable, even as there's been lots of other options. So when I record a Michigan State football game and I'm on the road, I can go back to my hotel, and the way I'm able to watch it on my phone and the fast-forward rewind features and all that stuff is really fantastic on the Xfinity app. That is the most entertaining thing I saw this weekend. I'll go to my next take here. So I think we're talking about college sports and all the angst and all this stuff and how you just can't see a better world. And I think it's hard to see right now. But I think there is one of the real pluses of the potential of collective bargaining, which is where we're eventually headed, is that it could take some of the crazy NIL salaries out of recruiting. It could tamp down the craziness in recruiting to levels we've never really seen before. Because think about this, the athletes in any union or association that's collective bargaining are already going to be current athletes that are already in college. And there are lots of things to figure out, like, are all sports represented? Is football its own thing? You really shouldn't have men's basketball there because they'll think they're way more important than they actually are. I don't know how you deal with that, but that's a separate thing. But the athletes will be in college. They'll be looking to do what's best for them. You know who's not going to have a voice? The 16-year-old recruit. And so what you may wind up with is some sort of equivalent of a rookie salary scale or something that really lessens the money coming in. And again, you can say, well, there will be, there'll always be outside stuff, maybe, but we're talking about stuff that will be collectively bargained. This is stuff the players would agree to. And once the players agree to it, you can have some actual guardrails and rules and things that we all understand. So that to me is the one thing I think about in terms of the future of college athletics that could be positive. So imagine a day where you have collective bargaining and there's, a recruit can't make more than this coming in that first year. They can't be promised more than this, or they can't do more than this signing bonus, whatever it might be. Or maybe, who knows what it actually looks like. But it has a potential for there to be, you really earn it while you're there. And I think that could change the landscape. It could, think about the Dillon Tatum situation. If there's collective bargaining and his contract, he wouldn't be leaving right now. If his contract was up, you'd know it was up. You wouldn't be thinking, well, why is he in the portal? Because his contract's up. That's where we're headed, and we're just going to have to get used to it. And does it suck because a guy like Dillon Tatum has been all about Michigan State for a few years, is all of a sudden doesn't feel like he's all about Michigan State, and that doesn't connect with fans who have a bond and feel a certain way? Absolutely. And that's the danger for college sports. If fans that have always been connecting to players through that shared bond don't have that anymore, you got a problem. But that's gone anyway to a great degree. The thing that's now important is we understand why and what's happening, and we have a clear system, and the system in place doesn't work. And right now there's just there's this middle ground, this purgatory as we head towards wherever it is that's made things just awful for everybody. Well, not for players who are making the most money, but has made things really hard to understand and really frustrating and less enjoyable, and has made us all really bad.
But it still has to be tough for the athlete, though, because when you get the blowback that you get, especially if you're paying attention to the replies and stuff like that, of getting people just really, really pissed off at you. So again, it has to be wild for them.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I understand.
I would laugh at it because I'm getting paid, but yeah.
Correct. The only reason you're getting paid is the intensity of the blowback.
Yeah.
The only reason there's a market for you is that the fans at a certain school care and your next school care, and they're emotionally all in. Like I didn't see a single MSU fan say, man, I really feel bad for Samford, man. I think
pour one out for Samford.
Yeah, I think Trey Fort could have had a great year there. They had a chance to really make a tournament run. Too bad for them. Nobody ever thinks about the other side of it. Somebody comes in, nobody ever says that Kenneth Walker is actually a demon deacon from Wake Forest, and he's a Spartan for life now.
Deacon for life.
Yeah, like it's all selfish. It's all based on your own love for your alma mater, which I understand. This is what the whole thing originally was created on, and it's why it works. And players do need to understand that. Any blowback they get, anything they get, and granted, cruelty is never warranted, but when they get frustration at them, that's what's paying for their salary at MSU. That's what's paying for their salary at their next place. It is the passion behind it. And it's lunacy because it's not their ability. Again, we've talked about this before. The actual ability of these players relative to, I mean, if you watch like an Illinois Rutgers Saturday afternoon, noon football game, like that is not always high-level football. If you watch a college basketball game, it is not always high-level college basketball. It's the passion that creates the market, and they need to understand
gambling.
Yeah, but
Gambling helps. Yeah.
I think collective bargaining. I think collective bargaining. The one thing we could get to a place where there's some real, tempers the recruiting side of it. So, do you have any other hot takes?
I do actually. Did you know the NFL draft was this week?
What?
Yeah. In Green Bay. By the way, my friend Jordan is doing his 2025 NFL draft prop sheet. We did it last year. It is a $100 buy-in. If you don't care about the NFL draft, I'm trying to get into it. I don't know if it's because the Lions have the 28th pick, but this is actually a really good contest. I know Harry has done it. Graham can vouch for it. It's a $100 contest. It's a prop bet with over-under questions, and it's for the first round of the draft only. So don't feel like you're going to have to do like a whole bunch of 7-round mock drafts. Top 3 spots get paid out. We have 14 people joined so far, so top 3 paid.
Did I win it 2 years ago? I feel like I won it 2 years ago.
I think that you finished in the money. I don't know if
the money.
You won it.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a good chance for you to get paid out. Like I said, top 3 get paid out. My email, you can email me or you get a hold of me on Twitter or wherever you have to do it. heyrube1979@gmail.com. If you're interested, I will send you over to Jordan. And it's honestly, if I can do it, it's a simple contest. You sell them the money, and there you go. So anyway, I was just noticing today because the Dan Patrick Show, I do watch that in the mornings or listen to it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Green Bay for the draft this week," and I was like, "Oh shit, that's right. That's the whole draft and everything." I used to live for the draft, especially when it was on the weekends. They screwed it up by putting it Thursday, Friday, all that stuff, because we would get together kind of like a football Sunday on Saturday and sit there and watch the draft all day.
And you got 3 rounds in the first day. Right. It was awesome. Yeah,
the Lions usually had about top 15 picks, so it was always interesting. But so I don't know if it's because of the Lions' success or what, but the NFL draft, man. But anyway, if you want to get in on that contest. Also, one more thing. Logan Webb, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. That doesn't mean much because he was interviewed, and it made me think of you. Like, whenever I see these kind of things in the wild with the media, like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I'm going to play this clip, and you tell me if you can hear.
Okay.
Bumgarner, Gum, and Palmer shot for at least 4 outings with I'm sorry. At least 4 outings with 10 strikeouts and no walks. What does it mean to you to be in that list with those guys?
I'm sorry guys.
Logan Webb felt all of Fred Human. There was someone interviewing. It was not Logan Webb who farted, but there was someone who farted, and I was wondering, has it ever happened to you? Because me, I know, like, I've had bubbly guts and stuff, but I would exit out of the room. Like, I mean, I'm so jealous of someone that can just rip some ass and then go, I'm going to keep asking my question.
It's so bad with the MSU press corps at times, and I'm not saying farts specifically, but when we all gather around Izzo and there's hot, sweaty bodies near each other,
all of Fred Human,
that if I've got plans like with Elizabeth that night, I don't shower before that. I shower after. I'm not going to pre-shower, go in this contingent of humid mess, and then come out of that and then go hang out with her and have her have to deal with Fred Human's bodily fluids that have been on me. Like, that doesn't work, So it's not. Yeah, there are times where somebody rips. It's bad because you can have tight confines and you can't like leave the interview.
Yeah, you can. Can't you squeeze out? I just would. I mean, is there a question that you're going to ask that is? I'm
not saying. I'm not saying if you fart. I'm saying if somebody else farts, you're like,
right. But I mean, I'm talking about the person farting. If you can just rip ass like that, I feel like there's a way that it alerts you. Your stomach, that is, like, really does. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good.
Just keep forging through. But anyway. All right, that's it, I guess.
That's good stuff. All right, are we ready to dig into these listener takes?
Yep, let's do it. Eric Schultz up first. Let me get this thing here. Okay. Darius Adams is the guy Couch has been alluding to as MSU's major target. Would be a massive get. And from Gorjo and Travis Maynard and MZA. Last Friday, you said Izzo was still cooking something up, but you weren't able to talk about it. The next day, Darius Adams decommits from UConn. If I recall, he was with MSU right to the wire. Am I close, or was this just a coincidence? Couch, the guy you were referring to was Darius Adams, right? Blink twice if it's Darius Adams. If so, I think he can be a real difference maker for MSU.
So, a couple things on this. It was not actually Darius Adams, the person. And this should tell you that Izzo is working the portal hard. Like, there was another name, another person, and I don't have this... From what I know, I don't have the ability to give this name on record. Some of you have tweeted at me about it, and you have it right. It's not the hardest thing, but it was a transfer, and a pretty big name transfer. Who I don't know if that's completely dead or if they moved on completely to Darius Adams. I've heard they're interested in Darius Adams, and they've been working that. I don't know what's going to happen there. But so to give you an idea, like the idea that Trey Fort was it, that they were just done working the portal or just looking for a low major backup point guard to come in, that is not.
Coach my team.
This may kill Izzo to wind up, getting the guys out of the portal and working the portal and dealing with salaries that have escalated multiple times over since a year ago. But he's willing to die to do this, right? He is with you more than you think. Darius Adams, like I've watched a lot of footage on him. Obviously he plays at a high school where Michigan State has a lot of ties in Indiana with Jaren Jackson and Jeremy Fears and a lot of. I think he's a terrific player, tremendous player. He is a freshman. Now he's got some size to him. He's a shooter. You always wonder, like, in this day and age of college basketball where 22, 24-year-olds win a lot, how does a true freshman come in and what's his impact? But when you watch him from just a skill standpoint, he'd be a big get. Top 30 recruit for sure. At minimum, you're probably looking at a Max Christie level player. And Christie obviously didn't shoot as well that year. And the one thing I think that Darius Adams would have if he chose Michigan State is he would have a better cast around him than Christie had that year. I mean, I still think Max Christie, if he had like this coming year's team around him, would have had a better year. There was so much asked of him. Yes, I think Darius Adams would be a tremendous kid. I think he would play a lot. And he would not be the old, veteran you get. But I do believe that they are working on him. We'll see whether that comes to fruition. But that was actually not the timing of that. Looks like that was what I was thinking, but there was another guy who they were in on and may still be to some degree, who would have been a big get as well. So again, this just shows you this isn't some. Now we landed Trey Fort. That's it. We're in. Good. There we go.
What accent is that?
I don't know. That's my.
Like an old timey guy.
This is who Izzo turns to as a meek portal. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Never gonna catch me, copper. You see? Yeah.
Fix that in post, if you would, please.
Southern Spartan. Next, number 1, Darius Adams will join MSU after recommitting from UConn. And 2, bonus take. The O-line for MSU will be much improved. The D-line, though, will still struggle. Rossi will need to find different ways to bring pressure.
I could see this happen. I just can't believe in the offensive line until it does. Like, when I look at the defensive line, I don't see difference makers rushing the passer. I see guys who can be okay stopping the run, right? And so you're right, they're going to have to get creative there. And we saw that dry up last year once they started playing high major competition. They were really good early, and they seemed to be creative, and the pressure was layered, and everything looked good. And then they faced a different level of team, and also teams sort of had them on film. I remember Rossi talking about that. He just said, teams have scouted us. They realize what we're doing. And so they're going to have to be more creative there. The offensive line, every year about this time, I can see why it would be improved. And there are reasons on that offensive line. I'm like, this could be a better group. But I'm not buying it until I see it. Too long watching Michigan State offensive line play, and it's just, we'll know it when we see it. And, everybody can celebrate it when it happens. But until then, I would caution.
Spartan 18770 next. Players will find that fans will be hesitant to purchase their NIL products from now on. No one likes investing in a person who may be here today but gone tomorrow, quite literally. And from Sparty Ben. I don't want to see any athletes from state pushing out social media posts asking us to buy their merch anymore. How can they expect us to spend $50 to $100 on a shirt or hoodie when the next week they could be in the portal?
Yeah, this is the thing you're gonna have the calculus you're gonna have to make, and I can understand people not wanting to do that if they want.
Teacups.org. There is no $50 to $100 kind of shirts on there, so yeah,
and zero chance of the portal.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to take?
T might transfer.
That's a good
one
point.
of these days on me.
We'd have to figure that out. That's a good point. Yeah, I can see her having like a whole tweet with like one of those messages that players have with a graphic and everything. Like, it's been nice being with the Rube for a few years here, but I think I can do better.
Yeah,
and she wouldn't be wrong.
No, she's not wrong. Yeah. Spartan, if you are a fan that is mad at players for transferring, then you should be more mad at yourselves. College sports is a business, and that is how most players' mindset is. Either come to terms with this or stop caring about the kids and just root for the school.
Yeah, I mean, this is the hard part, I think, for people, and I think I saw a reply to this one from Spartan 18770 on the
He makes it sound so easy, though.
Right, because this is what you've always been able to do both of. This is what made college sports great. You get to sort of get to know the kids. People would fall in love with the players, and they play for their school, and there's that bond. So you're rooting for the school and the kid. And now it's that has been sort of broken. And I think the problem also is within every season, you fall back in love, especially people who have been doing this for a long time as fans. Like your mindset's like, think about the MSU basketball season you just had. You know that college sports has changed. You know that those guys in the back of your head are getting paid differently. You know some of them could leave. But when you start to have a year like that and they seem to be all about winning and the program's resurrected, you're all back in the way you used to be for 8 months or 6 months, and it feels tremendous. And then, so it's part of it's just the way the brain works for people who have been following college sports and caring about college teams for a long time. It is hard to get to a different place. And it's probably not healthy for the sport long term if people stop caring about the kids and only for the school. But you know, I do hope we do get to a point where there's an ability to not just shit on kids that leave. I don't think we get there, though. I just don't. I don't think, because I look at like what happens in pro sports with soccer and other places, and when a player leaves who's a professional, who's under contract, who decides after giving a lot of time to a club that they're going to go do something else, and they're called traitors. There's no maturity in fandom, and I don't think we're ever going to get there.
Oh, man. Sparty Ben. Does Solari hate his job? Why is he calling out Normand? He was a great juice guy on the bench for State this year and never had anything bad to say about his playing time or Michigan State.
I promise you that Chris Solari does not hate Garrick Normand. And I also,
Graham.
My understanding, I don't want to speak out of turn here, is Normand's family didn't take anything by Solari's post. I think a lot of people, it came across snarky. Like I had to look at it this morning because I was brought to my attention, and I was like, what are people mad at Solari about this time? And Solari's tact was not perfect. I will give you that. And I looked at it and I kind of cringed because it was just needless.
Yeah, real close to home.
Yeah, me.
But it's a tweet, you know.
If you're gonna have fun with it, like me, I said, he's following Steve Nash to Santa Clara. Like that's a fun tweet, right? It's.
Hold on, I missed it. Hold on.
Thank you.
Man, it's too good to miss.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, he does not hate his job, and I don't think he was trying to call out Normand, but it came across as.
But what's so bad about calling him out for that? If it's being told that he was homesick by Izzo, I mean, it's just a little snarky thing. But I don't, out of context like that. If you heard Solari say it, then I could understand. But I don't know. I think Solari's funny on Twitter. Right, I think him snapping on people's great.
Yeah, and the funny
makes
thing,
it interesting.
And the funny thing is, Solari is like the most sweetheart of a guy, but he doesn't.
He said that about Lowe, so everything's thrown out the window.
It's fair.
You'd really like him. You seriously, if you had a bowl of soup with him, well, you guys would be best friends. Don't do your voice. Don't do it.
Okay.
Sparty Barb next. Number one, MSU basketball fans need to calm down. We're going to be just fine next year. So many positives, including our returning players and a talented incoming freshman class. 2, Scum's roster may look good on paper, but money doesn't buy team chemistry. And 3, great to see the Pistons back in the playoffs. And bonus, MSU women's soccer wins the Big Ten this year.
2,
I love that number 2, Scum's roster. Like it's all positive. 1, 3 bonus. Like, oh yeah. By the way, Scum's roster might look good on paper. I love Barb.
Yeah, I think Dusty May's pretty good at creating team chemistry. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. There's much more to replace there. They've done a nice job of it. To number 1, I do think there is a tendency, and this happens, this is not anybody's fault, but this is just one of those things. There's a tendency to forget how seasons unfold. And sometimes you may not be fine, sometimes you might be fine, but like a year ago right now, nobody knew Jace Richardson was going to be that. Nobody knew it in Moneyball. People thought I didn't think it after the first game. I thought he was, end of rotation guy. I just didn't know what was coming. And I don't think anybody really did. And I think he thought it. His parents thought it. They probably knew a little more. I think the coaches.
So that's how we should feel about every player that plays in Moneyball.
What I'm just saying is like the idea that Kurt Tang could be really, really good next year. The idea that somebody could break out, like the team will take on a different look, a different feel. It'll be a different team, but we really have no idea what it'll look like and what it'll feel like. And it may be just fine. It may be not, but there is a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent more than some other years. And if they add somebody is gifted is Darius Adams or another transfer who's Darius Adams would be a freshman, or a transfer who's got some pedigree to them. Even if they don't, even if this is it with a backup point guard, there's a chance that they're still really, really good. We just don't know because we can't see everything. And again, we suck at the offseason.
Jebediah next. Bonus last-minute rant, apparently. If MSU players don't want criticism from fans for entering the portal, they need to be 100% transparent on why they're leaving. Seeing staff scold the fans again because we have no idea why a player is leaving while the program has been largely lifeless for a decade is just a rough look. Fans, donors, people spending money on your program have a right to complain if the product is dog shit, and solid players continuing to leave last minute doesn't bode well for the future of the program. Sorry if this makes it in, Jason. No problem. It was good, actually. Boiling take. Darius Adams would be a chef's kiss add to this class, in my opinion. And bonus, begging Solari to have just an ounce of chill every now and then. The Norman thing was just not needed.
I'll talk to Solari about the chill. I don't know if the chill is coming from Solari. Anyway,
I think he's too chill. Don't you talk to him. Don't ruin Solari for everybody.
I won't ruin Solari.
Come on.
No, I won't ruin Solari. This is a little bit of what I was talking about at the beginning. I think, there is I understand what Darian Harris was trying to do here. Because Dillon Tatum, while not quite the Trey Holloman level, jarring decision, because people have seen people leave the football program, it's a little more understandable. He was injured last year, whatever, all that sort of stuff. He was trying to get out top and explain it. There's probably a good reason. It may not be what you know, but what is that reason, right? And again, I think the one thing that college, if we can avoid the cruelty, if college administrators, college athletes, college coaches have to understand is all of this passion, which now has a voice on social media, is what is paying for it all. It's what's driving everything. It's it creates this world they live in where people care what they do and they're celebrities and they get to live a certain life and they get to make a certain amount of money. It is all of that. If that goes away, so does that. So you can have nobody criticizing you, but that means nobody cares. And that would be the thing that I would.
But it's something we don't even deal with in professional sports. We know what those guys, what their contracts are. Correct. We know we're going to have them for a certain amount of time. Just going willy-nilly and going, I don't feel like playing here anymore. It's going to rub people the wrong way.
I mean, you see it a little bit in pro sports because people are unreasonable and they're tied only to their teams, but it's not the same way because it's not the same connection. Because the difference between pro sports and college sports is that in college sports, a lot of people, not everybody, I mean, you and I didn't go to Michigan State. We didn't go to Big Ten schools. But a lot of people went to the school they root for. So there is that it's like if you spent, 4 years working for the Detroit Lions, like there's this bond, there's this common shared experience that's different in college sports. And you get it a little bit in English soccer with towns and clubs. I'm not talking about the pretend Tottenham fans in America and all the 30-year-old, yeah, we're not going to get into that. But
yeah, let's not.
Thank you. But anyway, to your point, like I do think there needs to be an understanding on that side of thing that until there's real transparency and until media get better at reporting this stuff, until players really explain, hey, I'm leaving because I'm looking for this, then everything looks like the same jilting of, you're dissing the school you were at. That's how people read it. So that their school that they love isn't good enough for you. Their program isn't good enough for you. And if there's some other reason to leave, and again, guy went to Michigan State to graduated college, he's going to go do something. There might be great reasons, and even if there's not, it's his right to do it. But the explanation of it that we don't really get individually is I would say, if you don't want any blowback, come with the full explanation.
Moneybag next. If there had been widespread hatred or attacks on Dillon Tatum this morning, Darian Harris's post could have been warranted, but there weren't at all. Lecturing people on how to feel when your product has been insufferable for 10 years is a great way to push them away even more. And bonus, it's kind of ass having no spring game and really no spring football discourse.
Yeah. I mean, I understand people feel that way. I don't. I would pay for no spring game.
Yeah, but that's you.
Right. Correct.
People like to do stuff here and there and go out and see their football team. And
Yep. No, and I get it, and
able to speculate on it.
No, and I it was something that's been a part of the college football culture for, in a pretty big way for a couple decades now, and I can understand people missing that and missing the chance to get fired up about it and all that stuff.
T-Bone's dad, if MSU gets an additional high-end guard for next year, Kurtang will put his name in the urinal immediately, as he'd be pushed to the 11th man.
Maybe. So
the urinal or portal.
From everything I know, Kurtang is still a part of things, still plans to be a part of things. I'm sure he had those
Spartan dog.
I'm sure he had those talks when you start to see other guys being signed. But the thing you have to remember, a couple things, is like a guy like Kurtang may beat out other guys. The other thing that could happen is, now that you don't have to sit out, like if I'm Kurtang, if I could stick around, even if I didn't have the biggest role, if I had some role, my value might be a lot more next year. If I come in and I'm like a 40% three-point shooter, even though I'm playing 15 minutes a game and I'm really contributing, and I don't, if I don't see my pathway at MSU beyond next year, then I can leave next year. If I were Kurtang, I would be hesitant to leave now because I think your value, and I understand that there's an argument that sometimes when the player hasn't played a ton, the intrigue is, well, what is he? And maybe there's value in that. But if I were Kurtang, I would think a year from now I might be in a better spot to find something else if Michigan State didn't work out. So I would be hesitant to leave right now.
Jai Kwang next. How long until the NIL bubble bursts? As of now, it's unsustainable and already affecting fandom. Couple this with youth having lower sports viewership compared to older generations, and college sports will be cooked very quickly.
Yeah, young people don't watch games; they watch highlights, right? It's different, and that it has to be a concern when you think about TV
even with
rights.
Sports, though. I mean, I can understand the NBA watching the fourth quarter, but
you won't find 16-year-olds who 20-year-olds who watch games. They watch clips. Even players, like Izzo talks about this all the time with his own team. Like he used to watch the NBA playoffs with his players 20 years ago, right? They'd come down in the office, they'd hang out, they'd watch late games, they'd watch other teams around the country. The guys now watch clips. They don't watch full games very much. It's very different.
It's smart with the NBA, but other than that, I mean, I kind of want to see games. But
well, yeah, I mean that's not what they do.
Kids,
it will be interesting in terms of how long till the NIL bubble bursts. It's gonna be like this next year is gonna be so fascinating if revenue sharing goes into effect, and so you have a football program having $15 million. If you have Big East basketball programs which don't have football having, $7-8 million to give their rosters, what the outside NIL still looks like, what the donors are willing to give now that revenue sharing's there, and because there's not really return on investment there. And I know you can do the math and say, well, if you're a billionaire, it really doesn't cost you anything anyway. But there's a fair argument there. Still, billionaires are usually billionaires because they weren't idiots with their money. I don't know. I don't know.
Didn't Ishbia and his brother give like $10 million to the baseball team though? I mean,
yeah,
I'm just saying they could have went to Izzo.
Cobbs Field and lost that. That was not great. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why I understand they wanted to give money, but like, people did not like you taking over the name of the field there. It did not make sense. And Ishbia's other problem is his owner right now. He's not all that well thought of. Like,
yeah, if you talk to Stephen A.
You don't. Well, anybody.
I mean, come on.
I mean, just look at what he's definitely had new owner syndrome. The answer to your question is I don't know. I don't know what it looks like, and there's clearly still people willing to give a lot of money, and people care, and I just don't know.
The bottom line is I could see that game going one way or the other.
Scotty Green's El Camino, number one, NCAA non-revenue sports are in trouble. My daughter is a Division I diver, and they are already making roster cuts. She's okay, but some of her friends aren't. I'm having trouble seeing a path forward for these sports in the new NIL environment. Sad for a lot of athletes. And jumping down here, I was trying to explain Couch to my wife. He's not gay, and even pushed a guy down the stairs when he hit on him. But he thinks Greg Gard is hot and has a thing for men's thighs. Well, in her book, you're gay, Couch.
Yeah, I mean, the Hallmark movies, the love for musical theater. I mean, I can see.
You are the gayest heterosexual man I've ever met in my life. So.
Right. Well, I do believe a good scouting glove involves looking at a man's thighs and judging them.
Licking them or
looking at
them?
them?
Oh, okay. All right.
Licking.
You got to ask. Clarification.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Jesus.
Lick thighs. But, yeah, no, I can't argue. I mean, the optics aren't great for me if I was trying to not look like a gay man. You apparently had a second one, too, that I missed here. I apologize. But, yeah. Look, I think this is, to your first part there, though, Scotty, it is a fear what's going to happen for a lot of sports, track and field, swimming, those sort of sports throughout college athletics are I think, really nervous right now.
Matt, next. Larry Lage does an article about Nick Marsh turning down $1 million. How on earth isn't the next question? So you were offered money and you weren't in the transfer portal.
Because everybody knows that's what's happening now. I mean, that's the thing, Matt. Like, it's not
But to hear him respond, though, it'd be interesting.
Right, true. But people kind of assume that's what's happening. There's a ton of – I would love one coach just to go just completely batshit angry about all this stuff and just start naming names. This school, they asked, they tampered, and just refuse to, like, play them until the NCAA ban.
Didn't Lane Kiffin do that? I thought Kiffin did that.
But think about, like, if – say – I'm not saying Minnesota basketball is tampering, but say Minnesota was going after Kurtang, made him an offer, wasn't in the portal. Again, this is not a real thing. And next year, Izzo was like, nah, we're not playing Minnesota till the NCAA comes down on them. And, like, just put that pressure out there. Like that. You want to mess with tampering? Start naming names. People are so cowardly. They're so cowardly. It goes back to, if you ever heard Jack Ebling tell the story with Judd Heathcote's book. Heathcote was, Ebling wrote Heathcote's book, and Heathcote had this one chapter that apparently was about all this cheating and all this stuff that was going on, and the whole thing was like, would have sold the book, right?
Ebling would have been rich.
He wouldn't be doing what he's doing now still. Yeah, right. He'd be,
sold millions of books.
And anyway, at the last minute, he chickened out, and Ebling had to write a different chapter. And I mean, like, the coaches always, they want transparency. They want this, but they don't share enough. They don't, Izzo wants all this transparency is better, but he's not telling you exactly what his NIL budget is. He's not telling you what he's paying players. And even if he thinks it's what's best, like, nobody's leading the charge in this stuff, and that's, but that's, I'm sure Nick Marsh got offered $1 million. I'm surprised he hadn't gotten offered more than that, and that just tells you the basketball-football dynamic, because Nick Marsh as a basketball player would be a $2.5 million guy, even though basketball brings in almost zero money compared to football. That just tells you about how effed up the whole basketball situation is. Whenever they do collective bargaining, they got to tell the men's basketball players, yeah, here's some pure options, chill in the back. We are not letting you in part of this negotiation because you do not have a real sense of what you're actually bringing in for universities versus what you are worth.
Original Dark Mantonio next from Hot Takes and Questions on here. Seems half the fan base loves Alan Haller. The other half hates him. Never seen an AD approval so mixed. Well, a majority of that's Matt C.
It is Matt C. He's even got a Fire Haller hot take later on.
See?
Yeah.
I got to say, outside of Matt C., I don't know who comes at Haller. Even though I don't follow that stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who are frustrated. There was there are some people who get frustrated with the football program or wanted them to hire Urban Meyer or something like that. But for most people, understand that what he's done has been, I think, pretty good. Athletic department wide in a very difficult time. Now, Alan Haller would tell you that if it doesn't work out with Jonathan Smith, he won't.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the verdict is still out, right?
Well, and the other thing is Alan Haller hasn't had his contract renewed at this point, I don't believe. So, that's another thing. I think if it doesn't happen this September, that would be telling. You got a new president comes in. This wasn't the boss who hired him, right? So, I don't know that Alan Haller's entirely safe, but I think he's done enough to earn certainly the length of if I were a school president, I would like enough of what was going on there, and then I would maybe tie him to Jonathan Smith's contract and or the length of time of that.
Scott, you next. Number 1, Normand left due to playing time. 2, Santa Clara is not close to home for Normand. It's in California. I know Solari would appreciate this after seeing his Twitter interactions today. You should tell him, Scott. Let him know. 3, Couch will take the contents of the roundtable after Izzo's presser last week to the grave.
So it wasn't really a roundtable. He said he was going to do a roundtable during his presser, but then he went so long that we wound up just chatting a group of us around him for a while, and there was some good stuff in there that I can't share, but it was good intel to have, certainly, in terms of how much these guys cost and some conversations about where he stands, some of which I agree with, some of which I don't.
So he told you not to tell. So you can't tell. He told you about certain numbers, but then you can't tell us, right?
I have a sense of them, yeah.
You have a sense of them.
Yeah, it's the worst. I mean, Izzo is sometimes the absolute worst, because one of the worst things about off-the-record information that you can't use
is telling people that you have it.
No,
that way we go, what does Couch know?
Well, is when somebody gives it to you who will know where it came from, because he told you, and the worst part is sometimes you have it from 3 or 4 places, but Izzo will still think you got it from him, and Izzo. It's one of the remarkable things about Izzo's tenure that he hasn't been burned by that so much, because he goes in and off the record and he expects you to kind of know when.
And he just winks at you, so you have to know.
You just kind of know based on his tone and what.
Is that a double wink? I didn't see that. Is this off the record?
It's remarkable that some ambitious student reporter sometimes can just lay it all out there.
Carl, next Couch. You really think MSU has a better program than USC in football, and also claim not to be a fan? It's like listening to an alternate universe, Lats. It's like listening to an alternate universe, Lats, where instead of crack, he went to some low-end journalism school.
Carl's always on my case for being.
Down to Houston and New York to LA.
I mean, come on, low-end journalism school? I mean,
Columbia College?
Yeah.
Nobody can get in there.
How dare you?
Yeah. So let me say this.
Alternate universe, Lats.
I mean, here's the best thing. If people want to think I'm a fan, I would, if you offered me tomorrow, I remember when the COVID football season, when Big Ten football was canceled in COVID, and they were and then they uncanceled it. I was so pissed off. I would have happily done that. If you told me tomorrow you could have 6 months writing about other stuff with no MSU football, I would sign up for it. It doesn't mean I don't like covering it. But I don't yearn for this stuff. If you don't believe that, then I don't know what to do. I mean, there are lots of people who just think, he's a fan, he's a homer, whatever. I'm not offended by your thought of that. You think what you want. I grew up a fan of the program. I've said that.
Have you ever fist pumped in the media center when something happens?
Just after Solari farts, usually. That's it. But so let me give you USC's record, though. Let me give you their seasons. And so I think the question was where Michigan State could be based on programs in recent times. USC's last few seasons, they went 7-6 last year, 8-5 the year before that, 11-3 a year before that, which year before that when Michigan State went 11-2, they went 4-8. The year before the COVID, 8-5, 5-7. They haven't been a consistently good program since 2017, and even then they were 8-6 2015, 9-4, 7-6 in 2012. We think of them like Pete Carroll, but since Pete Carroll, they've been 8-5, 10-2, 7-6, 10-4, 9-4, 8-6, 10-3, 11-3, 5-7, 8-5, 4-8, 11-3, 8-5, 7-6.
Wait, what was the seventh one?
Thanks.
Jesus.
What I'm saying is, yes, I would. They are probably better than, and I didn't say Michigan State was better than them. I just took the schools that were definitely better than Michigan State right now as programs. That were healthier programs than Michigan State. And I don't know that USC is there right now. I don't. And maybe they are, but last year they went 7-6, which isn't that great. And so if that makes me a homer who lives at the altar of Jonathan Smith, then so be it.
On our show.
Voice of Gotham softball. Because I'm still salty, D'Antonio gave up recruiting his final 3 seasons. I'm attributing the lack of pro prospects in this year's MSU draft class to him. Not sure the timeline works out, but hey, it's his fault.
Yeah, I'm going to do a column a little bit digging into the NFL draft in Michigan State and sort of the correlation with, the fall and in a little more detail than I did when I did it a few years ago. Because sometimes I write the same column 3 years, every
because you're
years.
a fan.
Yeah,
fans do that.
Giant fan.
Yeah.
And but I do think there is something to look at in terms of how high those picks have been, where they came, the years in which it stopped, and there's no doubt though that D'Antonio's the end of the D'Antonio era is still lingering. Right. This is why you can't let things go too long, because it's hard to get yourself out of. Now there are lots of other circumstances and reasons and, who you hire, the timing of the hire that you wind up with Mel Tucker, who at the time, at one point looked like a great hire and then wasn't a great hire, obviously. The NIL world with Michigan State was slow to understand, and a lot of schools were, but slow to understand the amount of money. Their top donors were slow to understanding that it wasn't just going to be $3 to $4 million that they could fund the top billionaires every year that would cover the athletic department, right, in NIL. It wasn't until you get Ryan Day saying it would cost $13 million to keep his roster. Like, people it started to come around, so a lot was changing. And so I do cut Michigan State some slack, and some of it's just bad timing. But there's no doubt that, if I do believe that if Mark D'Antonio had retired after 2017, after they had the bad year, they come back, they get to the Holiday Bowl, they win 10 games, people feel a little bit better about them, but they're not a great program. With the defense he had coming back the next couple of years, and if they had had a little bit of new energy and something else right then, pre-NIL too, when somebody like Mel Tucker's swagger would have mattered and Lamborghinis on a football field might have mattered before you're paying players actual Lamborghinis and stuff like that.
We don't have enough time for all of that.
And maybe it wouldn't have been him, but I'm just saying I think they would have had a better chance of a continuation of building because the reputation of the program was still really high. You're just talking a couple years outside of the playoff of that 36-5 run. So there's no doubt that D'Antonio hanging on, and he had done enough to earn the right to hang on, right? But that's the problem with that is it still lingers.
Rocco in Chicago next. Number 1, rooting for MSU football is like rooting for Everton and EPL. Storied program, but will never spend what they need to compete with the big spenders. 2, there are too many days where the biggest sports story is related to the transfer portal and NIL. That impact will slowly cause fans to pull away. And 3, the 2050 MSU Michigan football game will be coached by Max Bulla and Connor Stallions. And baked, hitting the foul pole in baseball should be worth 9 runs. The entire batting order runs onto the field and runs the bases in unison. Absolutely pandemonium every time.
It would just end a lot of games.
It's like Savannah Bananas baseball kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems
they do that? Yeah,
they might. It seems like too much to me. The Everton, when they first started to really slide, part of their problem was just they made dumb moves. Like their spending was way out of whack. I mean, they spent a lot of money just on the wrong players. So I don't know if it's which you could argue, guys like Keyshawn Blackstock and guys at Michigan State's done some of the same over time. But it's not the worst comparison. I don't disagree with any of this, but 9 runs seems high.
Pete Duran next. The Pistons just don't have the playoff genes yet. Cade looked overwhelmed at times, and Jalen Duren somehow got 3 defensive 3-second calls. Inexplicable, but may come down to lack of playoff experience. And baked, 420 should be a national holiday, or give me some free weed somehow.
It should be
Well, most places give you free weed.
There's a lot of stuff going, and there's some great deals still going on at Pure Options throughout the month of April. Again, pureoptions.com. They'd love to see you. If ever, like, I go to their location over by Frandor. That's my primary spot, but they got 3 in the Lansing area. They're in Muskegon, Detroit, Mount Pleasant as well. And they always say if you're up in Mount Pleasant, there's no mountain, it ain't pleasant. So you probably need the Pure Options.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say. Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
Sinners Dog 97. Continuation fouls are ass. They make no sense to me.
Yeah, there are a lot more in the NBA, but they're starting to do them in college to some degree. But yeah, there's a lot more continuation stuff, and
NBA refs are ass. It's unbelievable. Like we talk about, if they ended up going to 6 fouls in college hoops, would the refs just call more fouls? Because I think that's what the refs do with 6 in the NBA.
Yeah,
Jalen Duren had 3 in the first half, and it's like, what the. These guys are just willy-nilly calling these fouls. It's crazy.
It was frustrating, yeah.
C-Dubs, 91. Hot take. The NBA is objectively ass.
There we go.
But I still want the Pistons to succeed, even if the playoffs are rigged. Food-related. Couch versus Chestnut. Groovy Donuts eat off at the Lugnuts game, July 19th, for the unofficial Couch of the Roop get-together. Let's make it happen.
Do you think if I emailed the Lugnuts and got a hold of Joey Chestnut's people that we could...
First of all, I would love to see you get a hold of Joey Chestnut's people.
Okay.
Because we did go to the game last year, Therese and I, with the Joey Chestnut game. And it was impressive watching how many people actually... Like, the line around the stadium for just to get his autograph or picture or whatever.
I don't understand.
Why? I don't get it either. Like, it's impressive. I mean, he sat on the stage and he ate 11, what's the famous burger? Olive burgers, which was interesting to watch. But
there are times that I have thought about, like, at this point in my life, my physician has asked that I not do food eating contests anymore. We did it on this show early on. It's like one of the first couple years, and I ate, for those who haven't heard it, I think it was, 10 groovy donuts in 9 minutes, and I was trying to get to 12.
Right.
And I've always said the first six were the best experience of my life. And were the best, 6 minutes. It was just, no offense to Elizabeth, but that's as good as it gets.
She's like, 6 minutes? I'm used to 3.
And then it got difficult. And they also gave me these, I think heavier cake-based donuts because they didn't pack it themselves. They said that day they were busy.
Can we get Joey Chestnut in here, a guy that eats 100 hot dogs in about 9 minutes, for you to tell him your story? Because I feel like you're trying to compete with him just in I feel like you would tell that story and you look at him just nodding, going like, yeah, you know what I mean, right?
He has a special thing in his stomach or something. Like, there's no way he's as a normal stomach. A normal human can't do what he does with hot dogs and stuff. It would kill you. You'd go into shock. Something would happen.
Well, that was a hot take you should have used about a half hour ago. Really? No, he doesn't have a normal stomach?
Yeah,
a dude that eats 11 olive burgers in 15 minutes? It was under that, I think.
There have been times, though, that I've thought I could break records. I remember being in Philadelphia covering a game and in a cheesesteak place, and it was like, if you could eat 12 of these, I would get a plaque or something or whatever. And I was like, I think I could do it. The problem is I just would feel like such ass the next day. I'm here to work. I don't want that.
You could not eat 12
I could eat 12 cheesesteaks.
There's
100%.
no way. No way.
Back when I was
full size
27, I could eat. Yes.
Nah.
I couldn't do it now. When I was 15, I could eat. I've always been able to eat a lot. It's not a big torso.
So what you're saying is you missed your calling doing competitive eating.
I didn't
you
say
thought
that.
you could do competitive eating at one point in your life.
Well, I did finish third in the mashed potato eating contest at the Chicago Irish Fest in 2009.
Dude, can we get Joey Chestnut in here? Because I want him just to look at you like, this guy, this MFer right here, you guys, this is what you invited me in for? I mean, if we didn't have to pay him $2,000 to come in here, I'm sure that's probably what it would cost.
Yeah.
2 Gs. Like, he gets what, 5?
Yeah, and when you're a hot dog eater for a living, you want money for every appearance because you don't actually have a league you play in. Like you need everything's.
Well, you mean he doesn't want to just come in for free and do an interview on a podcast he has no idea existed?
He's not like in a road game in the hot dog eating championships that are
just for you to try to talk to him as if you're like a peer or an equal in the food game. That would be worth it to me. I will seriously. We can make that happen. We'll do this couch the Rube thing. Seriously. I just want him to look at you in the face when you're telling this story and watching you tell the story in front of Joey Chestnut.
It would be as this one was, as always, a story worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company. Maybe we could get them to sponsor it. Midtown Brewing Company, I was there just this afternoon. Just awesome vibes, great menu, just a great place for a date night. Trivia on Tuesday nights, drink after work. You want to watch it, dip away for a day Tigers game, whatever it might be. Love the American Stout. It's one of my absolute favorite beers, and just love the vibe. And if you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. And many of you have been there for our live shows. Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing.
Troy Gillian next. Those streets of Lowell you walked Sunday are hallowed ground, Graham, birthplace of the Gus Macker. And Jason, give Graham some hoff. I need to know how the hell that Tim Hardaway dunk was offensive goaltending. Did the refs blow it, or does the NBA need to change its rule?
Let me see if I can find the footage of it. Hold on.
What? You need to find the footage?
Come on.
I am the passenger.
Peacock.
And I ride.
See if I can find the.
I ride through the city's backside. I see the stars come out of the sky.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I mean, I remember the play itself, but I was going to see if I could watch it again. You're
going to crush tape live on the show?
I'm going to crush tape live on the show.
Damn, Russillo.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're one up in Russillo. Hold on, give me some off. Let me crush some tape real quick.
Yeah. No, but I was in Lowell, by the way. Went out with the in-laws yesterday. So.
Oh, right. How was that?
It was good. They're good company. You know what they're doing? Speaking of a story we're telling, presented by Midtown Brewing Company. They are going to the TT motorcycle race in Isle of Man at the end of May. We're like, It's crazy. These are people in their 70s, and like six riders die most years. Spectators die. People are going around these tiny little village towns at like 200 miles an hour on motorbikes, and they're going. So we may never see
I know,
them
it's
again.
just funny how you said the name of this thing as if we all should have just jumped on board. Like, oh, no kidding. When are they going?
Anyone wants to YouTube, it's incredible. The
What's it
footage
called?
I think it's called the TT. Like,
the TT. That's the name of the race?
Yeah, hold on.
Jesus.
TT Isle of Man, yeah. It's probably short for something, but the Isle of Man TT or Tourist Trophy, the annual motorcycle race held on. Yeah, no, it's. But if you just do footage or their documentaries, you see the crashes, the deaths. It's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible.
I don't want to see death.
Well, then don't go to the Isle of Man.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Jesus. Lions reply guy. Rube, let me preface this with I don't think the Lions trade any of these guys, and we just keep as much talent on the roster for this year and figure it out later. But if you had to choose one of these guys to trade at the draft, who would it be? Number 1, J-Mo. 2, Laporta. And 3, Branch. Bonus. The NFL draft is actually more fun when you're drafting at the back end of the draft because you get to root for players you want to drop, and other teams reaching is enjoyable when you know it means you'll get good value by the time it's the Lions pick. I know we're just not used to it, so
yeah,
it's going to take a little time. I guess out of the three, obviously I have a Branch jersey, and I don't want him getting traded just for the sole reason I want to be able to wear my jersey like a heterosexual male. Laporta, I don't want him going anywhere. J-Mo, I mean, what? I got to say, I think I would pick J-Mo out of the three. I don't really want him to leave unless there was a trade that we could not refuse, right? But I mean, are we going to resign J-Mo when it's time?
That's
a lot of the problems we had to sit through a lot of his BS to get to this point, and are we there with him? So
shit gets expensive. To me, though, like we've talked about this with the Lions on this being like a really great 2-year window. I'm not saying the window can't go beyond that, but the next 2 years.
Don't you say that window's closing,
I'm
Couch.
not saying it's
Don't you
closing.
say it.
I'm saying the next 2 years, I think they have a better chance than anybody other than maybe the Chiefs and Mahomes, right? And so to me, unless you're getting great value for J-Mo, Jameson Williams is more value to those 2 years. The Lions have never won a Super Bowl. You're trying to win one. So I don't really care about, you could get a second round, you get this. Like, if he helps you win a Super Bowl, and even if you're going to lose him walking out the door in 2 years, I don't mind that at all. Like
but if there is an offer out there,
if it's a good offer, yeah, I feel like he's.
I can't imagine what team would send an offer that would get you Brad Holmes out of his chair, though, right? I mean, are people really going to sit there and they need J-Mo?
And that's the problem. He's probably worth more to the Lions than he is around the league just because of some of his off-field stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jake Windsor, number 1, was downright depressing watching the Stones get handed a 21-0 run to lose the game. 2, I think I hate campaign now. And 3, excited to see what the Lions do in the draft. And bonus, hammer Rory for the PGA.
So Jake
Might
Windsor.
want to do it now.
Jake Windsor, I like Jake a lot. He is Sean Windsor is his sire. Is his dad.
Huh? Why do you always make it weird?
I do.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. The word sire was in
That's
my
his
head.
sire? Like, no one has ever said that to me in their life.
Until today.
Why would you do that with poor Jake Windsor? It's his first time on the show. Sean Windsor's his sire? Dude, like, I can't even say. Dude, Jake, I'm sorry. It was great. I thank you for your debut.
So
I'm sorry for Graham. Like, what? Do you do this like when you're around him, by the way? Have you ever said that?
I've never said that to him.
How's your sire?
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
Uncle Graham's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I'm not going to get invited over the Windsors anymore. Would you hammer Rory for the PGA? Do you feel good about him?
I can't even think anymore with you. Sire.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to hammer it, you might as well do it now. The odds, whatever the odds are, but yeah. You're going to be short when it comes around.
I do feel like, though, that with him, he will I feel like Rory will be one of those guys, like, the pressure is off him now to some degree, right? Like, and I feel like Rory without pressure is dangerous as hell. I feel like he may go
He
on
was
a run
dangerous
here.
before that, but yeah, now he's got that Masters thing shook off. Oh, man, poor Jake. I'm sorry, Jake. You ruined it. Ghost of George Perlis next. The Lions will trade up, end up with only 4 players total, of which 3 will be Pro Bowlers. Baked. NCAA basketball should follow hockey rules for fouls. When a player hits 6, they have to sit for 2 possessions, creating a 4-on-5 situation.
On skates, too.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I just don't like. There are lots of things to do. That would just change the sport too much, and I think it would actually be harder on offenses. That wouldn't be harder on offenses if you pass the ball around. But yeah, there's just so many easy fixes. easy fixes.
Is that the rule we need, though, with the NIL business and all that happening?
Yeah, there's a lot of
now
other
we got
things to
4-on-5.
Well,
all the purist people.
In college hoops, there's the 6 fouls thing still a problem.
Yeah. David Jackson. Betting my stake on Scooble seemed like such a smart move, even at 1-2 odds. But it's not so smart after all. Fuck betting on baseball. I'll next log on to my gambling website in August for some football. And bonus. Removing Carpenter in the 9th so he doesn't get to hit his ass. Didn't he get hurt, though?
He did get hurt, yeah.
Baked take. Graham's oogling athlete's thighs would sink him like a rock if he started covering women's sports.
I do cover some women's sports, and you're right. I don't talk about women's thighs the same way I do men's. Yeah, because it would not go over well. That's not going to be something I transition to. I can get away with it with Marcus Bingham. I cannot get away with it, with like women's soccer players. It would not.
It would be fun to see how long you could get away with it before someone said, yeah, your editor called you in or your boss. Like, hey, Graham, that's kind of weird. What are we doing? 3 quick takes on the
Scooble stuff's tough because the odds are rough. What was he plus or minus 227 or something like that going into yesterday's game or Sunday's game or whenever last game he did, a Saturday's game, and it's you're not going to get great odds, and he's going to have that random day and something's going to go wrong. It's tough to bet Scooble. If you're going to do it, I would bet him on the run line, like minus 1.5, where you get closer to even money, and hope that happens. My guess is you're better off doing that than taking the losses at minus 227 if you wanted to.
We just need to score some runs for Scooble. That's it. Tyler, being annoyed the Tigers fumbled that 4th Royals game away in the midst of Easter parties. Shows us how far the squad has come. Imagine caring about this 3 to 4 years ago.
It is a good sign that, like, you get annoyed by losses now. Early in April, it's like, yeah. And they're still like 13-8.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
I just wanted to play that.
No,
but yeah, it's awesome to care about a team. Even with that loss yesterday, it was still great watching those guys and they battle
and they're still like 12-8. So I mean, they're still in good.
Bring on San Diego.
Good shape. Well, that'll be a good series. That'll be a fun series. I'm looking forward to it.
Fart Soup next. Number 1, Harvey Baez is the new Mr. Ass. Did he mean to put Harvey, or is that the new nickname for Harvey?
I guess
Harvey?
So. Yeah.
2, I heard Mel Tucker is hiding out in the old Bonnie's place. Fred Human told me that twice a week, Verge Bonero takes him a bottle of Jergens lotion, a Cricket wireless track phone from 98, and 500 minutes worth of calling cards, allegedly.
You ever been by Bonnie's place? Is falling apart. It used to be a nice little
it's
spot.
sad.
It's not great. Somebody needs to, like, it still seems like it's not the worst location. I'm a little surprised nobody has tried anything else there.
I think the inside the building is disgusting. Yeah. Like, it needs a complete
tear down.
Whatever I heard. Because you're right. I mean, it's in the middle of whatever Saginaw there. I mean, should get people.
Yeah, and it used to be Bonnie's place did well for a long time. They just retired, right? I don't think it was like a business that struggled or anything. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right, Ken Chu, there is nothing in all of sports that's tops NHL playoff hockey.
Yeah, NHL playoff hockey with the Muskox flannel. That might top it. But otherwise, you're absolutely right. And I had a couple people text me, like when games were in overtime this week, or not text me, email me, and I may have to give up my number to people so I can get it faster. Because it'd be like 4 hours later, I'd be like, oh, shit. They'd be like, Graham, it's 3-3. I'm like, oh, man. And I just didn't see it in time. So that app.
Drop Graham a postcard.
Telegram. Get it there.
Spartan Guy, number 1, is there an MSU media group chat where all the juicy off-the-record deets get talked about? 2, is it just me, or does Childs have the weirdest extended arm handoff to a running back? And 3, now that it's long over, how close was Urban to actually taking the MSU job 2 years ago?
These are questions, not takes here. To number 1, there are a couple MSU media group chats. They're not just MSU. They're media group chats, friends and things like that, and friends of former media. Graham. We don't share like off
recipes.
Well, because we're competitors as well. So certain things you would think maybe these get shared, they don't. I mean, there's fun stuff that gets on there. Like we make fun of Solari the way you make fun of Solari, but we do it on group text. A little less cruel. And Solari comes back at us. Because here's the thing about Solari. Is nobody is better at digging through your social media and finding like something embarrassing from your past than Solari.
Really?
And all of us know it. So like, there's a certain level we will not embarrass Solari to because we know he can go find it and bury us. Like you don't want to cross Solari. His research is pretty good.
What do you guys have going on?
Well, I'm just saying, like he would, he'll find that one picture or what. I don't. It's a good question. It's not like.
Have you ever seen pictures of you? I mean, even from what Dominic has in his phone. I mean, they're funny. I mean, what could they have?
Oh, there are worse pictures of me. Yeah,
I don't know. That one with his suit makes me laugh every time.
I actually look good in that photo.
I know. That's what it makes me laugh about it the most. And then you have that awful looking soup.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
The soup it was
a spoonful of cheese. Dude.
No, it was French onion soup. It was great. It was onion soup in France. That was in Paris.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, so that if it's in Paris,
it's just onion soup. The story we're telling, or not we're telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, which have an incredible menu themselves. Some great comfort foods and also lighter foods if you're trying to eat healthy. Just a really fantastic menu. Again, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. To number 2, I've not noticed Child's weird extended arm handoff. I will have to pay attention.
Tape.
I'll have to to the Urban Meyer question. How close was he to taking the MSU job 2 years ago? He was not offered the MSU job. I mean, that was not Alan Haller did not offer him that job, and Alan Haller ran that.
But isn't there a video of him talking about Michigan State like way back in the day?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I've seen that clip where he talks about how close it was when he was still at whatchamacallit, way back.
Yeah.
Neurotic Pains. Number 1, WrestleMania has taught me that nothing ends friendships more officially than punching a friend in the nuts.
Oy.
2, Spartan Nation and its prominent podcasters should have a Where's Mel forum and sightings page. I heard to buy. And 3, fuck. It's still 4 months until football. # worst time of year.
It'll be here fast enough.
You know what? It's good when you put it into Saturdays, like that Josh Pate guy. He does it, and he's like, only 19 more Saturdays. And I go, It's when people put it in days or months or something, right? And it's like, there's only 210 more days. I'm like, don't do that.
I always start to panic, like when it's 100 days out. I'm like, I have not gotten my summer in. I do not want to hear this yet. Do not come at me with football.
See, we view it differently.
Yeah.
We see it as, we can't wait for football. Couch goes, damn it, I'm going to have to start working it.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage. Mr. Benjen, number 1, I'm a lifelong Spartan who just read Solari's football depth chart article. I have heard of 7 of them total. 2, sports are nothing but narratives, player career arcs, teams trending up and down, etc. When nearly everything is reset every year, no wonder fan engagement plummets. And 3, I just turned 50 last week. Happy birthday, Benjen. The worst part is starting to have pea leg syndrome. Finish up, put him away, and a little dribble goes down the leg. So if you see me at the trough frantically rubbing my pants against my legs to stop the drip, don't laugh. It'll be you soon.
I don't like that.
What the fuck?
Is that what's ahead?
I'm not rubbing my pants. Dude, don't you just dangle it over there and shake it off until you're done? I mean, you still got...
He's like sounding like it just doesn't stop.
Jesus, man. 50?
That's not
4
that long.
years.
That's not good.
All right. Well,
we need other... those of you over 50, is this something just
tell us
wrong?
how you pee.
Because, maybe this is just something wrong with Benjen that needs to get looked at.
Well, yeah, it's obviously something wrong with him, dude. A little dribble goes down the leg. He's frantically rubbing his pants at 50? I mean, I don't know. Listen, man, I understand that dribbles happen.
I remember a 50-year-old sports writer used to say that he never passed up a bathroom or trusted a fart, and those sort of things are,
Ebling?
It was not Ebling.
Oh.
Greg Johnson, by the way.
It does suck when you get to an age where you can't trust a fart and you got to go sit on the toilet. So I guess I shouldn't. I don't rubbing my pants against my leg to stop the drip. I guess I'm just going to drip. Fuck it.
Just drip everywhere?
Well, I'm just, no, but I don't want to rub my pants. I mean, if you sit there and you, because I thought I could set records with my urination. Like, what is the Guinness Book World Records? And when I go to Lions games.
What do you mean, with how fast you urinate?
No. Like, I'm like what's an animal that can hold water? Camel.
Okay.
And I just wait until, like, if we go to the Lions game, I sit there and wait 3/4 and pee. Well, the problem is you have all of these guys like behind you, and they're just waiting for people to get out of it. So I can go for about 2.5 minutes. Then I start hear the heckling, and I just get in my head, and then I run out of there.
That's why you need a trough, because there's more spaces.
Yeah, but trough, then you got guys looking at your mule. I'll take the trade-off of getting heckled, than sitting there and having, like, dude, there's no way. A trough at Ford Field would be brutal. No fucking way.
That is, by the way, the most entertaining take of the day, presented by our friends at Comcast Xfinity. Though not sure.
Not judging Ben Jen. I have my own problems. I'm just saying I wouldn't rub my jeans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The new Sports News TV package is available for Xfinity customers, featuring 50 plus broadcast news and sports channels, NBA playoffs, soccer, whatever you want, including college football when it comes back, even if you don't like it anymore. Movies and shows all in one place. It's available for $70 per month when combined with Xfinity Internet, the broadband network built for streaming and live sports. No contract or commitment required. All right,
Kevin from Mars. Next, Graham, can you please confirm you've never spent $1 of disposable money on entertainment when you could have otherwise donated it? Regardless of income, I bet anything Magic donates at a higher percentage than you. So respectfully, fuck off with your NIL high horse take.
All right, Kevin, here's what we're going to say. You may be right.
This Magic's burner?
But I do know a little bit about Magic's history with the Lansing Promise relative to the amount of money he has. And Magic does not have a history of being – he has a little bit of a history of being frugal. We'll just put it that way. And I'm not saying it's not helpful what he's done with the Lansing Promise. I'm just saying that's where I would dream of him putting his money. And I would prefer that he saved Lansing schools, which he could do, rather than – bought Michigan State a fucking running back. That's all. That's just our priorities. We have different priorities. I would rather Michigan State goes 0-12 for the rest of eternity and Lansing schools have every kid able to go to college for free. That's just our two different priorities. And it's probably not, I understand other people do not feel that way, but that's where I'm at on this.
Corey Ostrom, when an athlete is paid to play and is in the top 10% of Americans as it pertains to income, criticism and scrutiny are a part of what you sign up for. Want to be a pro? Then understand everything that goes along with it. You're an adult now, but we can't be assholes either as fans. And bonus, I'm numb to the portal, regardless of sport. I'll see who is on my team come August for football and October for basketball. It's a business, and it's a two-way street. You have no business if you can't keep your clients happy.
Yeah, it takes a really. I understand why people are frustrated. It's not as fun. It's not as fun to cover. It's not as fun to be around. It's not as fun for anybody but the athletes. The problem is you had this oppressive system just forever, and we all dealt with it. I'm old enough to remember when Miles Bridges' family getting a $40 meal from an agent was like the biggest deal in the freaking world. And how stupid that is now. How dumb that is. And I think some of what we need to, where we need to get, begins with an apology from the NCAA types and school presidents, Luana K. Simon down here, where they just say, we screwed it up for years. Yeah, this was a dumb system. Like we for years and years and years, our sort of, you can't have a cheeseburger. You can't have if somebody gives you a ride and it's not paid for.
Is that Luana K?
No, that's anybody.
Oh. I didn't want to make sure.
It's old white guy at the NCAA, whatever it might be. Like I'm just saying, like that just an understanding of how ridiculous the whole thing was that we bought into. But
most of us would want to go back to that system over this one.
But I think if you start there and you say, look, we get it. Like you think about how absurd it was. 100% as fans, as writers, as everything else, it was much more fun to cover. It was much more fun that when somebody committed to your school, they were likely giving you 4 years. You could build a program differently. There felt, even if the loyalty was partly because they didn't have any options or they'd have to sit out or whatever it was more fun that way. And that's we've lost that.
Jay Riemenschneider, as much as today's college sports landscape is making me less and less a fan, I'm still so ready for college basketball season to start. Michigan football can take a back seat.
You are a rare breed, Jay. He is a Michigan fan who's like a Michigan basketball first fan.
That listens to a Michigan State show.
I love it. I love
rare breed.
We appreciate the hell out of you. And I think Michigan basketball is going to be really good. It'd be interesting to see what Michigan football does when you're talking about the potential of playing a freshman quarterback and whether he actually starts, because he's expecting to play. I don't care how touted you are and how talented you are. Quarterback is a position of experience, and I think that the other thing, Michigan could suffer some losses because of that. I don't think people should be making fun of them though, because the ultimate growth into what he could become in the last couple of years could be something special.
Couch on Fire. NCAA men's basketball is certainly interesting now that teams can legally do what Bill Self used to do. Why Izzo probably has such a hard time with this transition. And bonus, 4 years ago, who would have guessed that the Wings would have been the last Detroit team in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, they've
4 years. I mean, hell, a year ago,
couple years. Well,
we were asked the question.
I would say before the Lions got good, if you had asked us, we would have put the Wings 1 at one point, right? With the way that trajectory seemed to be going, and they've fallen behind, and the thing about it, and I understand some people are Red Wings fans and not Pistons fans and whatever, and there's all that stuff, but there is an element of you can get left behind if everything else is going. Like people just don't have time for mediocrity if everybody else is exciting, and right now everybody else is at least interesting, and the Red Wings really aren't.
Alex Mayer, number 1, minor league baseball games are some of the best bang for your buck sporting events. And 2, all basketball and hockey seasons should be done, playoffs included, by the end of April. Shorten the regular seasons if you need to.
See, I think you're more likely to go the other way.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy that the playoffs, at least basketball, are on. It gives me something to
Yeah, and they don't want to go up more against football. They're not going to go the other way. If anything, they're going to start their seasons later and go into July because football is just, dominates everything.
Less games and go up against football?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's just
bring that in.
There's no way to do that.
Kevin from Rochester Hills, number 1, Joel Damon is the poster boy for choking. 2, the NBA is full of players but not teams. And 3, there are only 2 holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Both peak times, by the way, for a muskox flannel. And if you do, some people do their Christmas shopping real early, get ahead. Like if you want to start thinking about next year, or just having a great gift on hand for the next time you screw something up, or you want to give something to somebody who'd really enjoy it and know you care, a muskox flannel would do that. Jason's talked about it with his father-in-law. Like nothing says, hey, I'm all right. I value you. I want you to have comfort and quality. Like giving somebody the gift of a muskox flannel. Go muskox.com, and the promo code for Couch and the Rube listeners for $15 off is Fix It and Post. These are lifetime flannels. Like these things last they're durable, they're comfortable, they're made with exceptional quality, and you'll absolutely enjoy it. Again, go muskox.com.
Richard Kane, number 1, if Izzo brings in a transfer big, which he won't do, that would put Kohler on the bench, and the next thing you'd see is Kohler in the portal. And 2, all I can say about the Pistons-Knicks series, experience matters. And bonus, for those looking for alternatives to golf in the spring, try the Cycling Spring Classics. Very few events can match the tradition of the drama of the Paris-Roubaix.
Roubaix. He even
Paris-Roubaix. I know, I don't want to say that shit. I saw the phonetics thing here. I didn't. What do you explain? I can see it. You sent it to me. Okay. I see it. I just Paris-Roubaix.
Well, Richard gave it to you. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Richard's the one.
No, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying you. I'm talking to you. I see it. I'm sorry. I'm just doing a bit. It's like, oh my God. I think 7 fucking years of doing this show.
Yeah, you think
1,000 podcasts we've done.
You think I wouldn't
Jesus Christ.
step on the bit?
It says it right there. Actually, if you could just read it says it right there.
Fuck me.
His
sire. This guy.
I don't think Izzo's going to bring in a big guy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going with what he's got.
Sire.
He's going with
Poor Jake Windsor. It's like, oh, hell yeah, I can finally contribute to this podcast I've listened to. Kind of like my Uncle Graham does it. Matt C., the Astrodome is nicer than Spartan Stadium, and it's been uninhibited for 25 years. Why don't we move all of our home games to Ford Field, or maybe they can play on the women's volleyball court on the new $130 million Olympic Park? And bonus, Fire Haller.
The consistency from Matt C. Consistency.
Hey.
Yeah, Spartan Stadium needs some upgrades. It's not the worst. I mean, I think it's getting this reputation as just this awful place to be.
It's the troughs.
The troughs are great.
The troughs are just
when they do get rid of the troughs, I'm going to buy one and put it on the back of my garage so I can at least pee out there when I'm mowing the lawn.
You guys didn't watch this, did you? I want the full effect.
Hans Jurgen, number 1, I thought Groovy Donuts was open 24 hours and stopped by at midnight, only to find Graham about to sacrifice Hondo in some sort of bizarre satanic ritual. And 2, I called the police and took off. And 3, I saw a fudge shop out of business in Allegan. Good. There should be no fudge shops south of Clare.
You're saying like it's only a Mackinac Island thing? It seems.
That's probably what he's saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Groovy Donuts is open 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Not 24 hours. No. Hans might be lurking if you get there too late, too, so be careful.
Jake Hawkins, number 1, Pistons better get it together and win tonight to even the series with the Knicks. That was a pathetic fourth quarter on Saturday, allowing the Knicks to go on a 21-0 run to seal the win. Also looked like there were some questionable whistles in that game. And 2, great column on the state of MSU basketball or MSU football, Graham. I think the season has potential to be decent, but word is on the social media that Jonathan Smith's desk looking clean with absolutely nothing on it on a video call with Big Ten Network is a sign he's not going to be at MSU long. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, where would he go? Like, I mean, there aren't only so many of these jobs.
He needs stuff on his desk.
Yeah, I don't read too much into that. I don't.
It didn't help that he was dressed like a magician's assistant, though. Well, he was wearing like the black long sleeve.
Sort of his look. Need to get him some muskox.
Yeah,
and then he'd be
for real.
Yeah,
he needed a muskox in that one.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, the jerk guy here. Number 1, if you gave out your personal cell phone so people could text you, you'd probably get better results. 2, we think it's unbelievable that dragons can create fire with their mouths, but we create water with ours.
To be in the Upper Deck Jerk Guy's mind for just a day, it'd be interesting if you could do one day in the Upper Deck Jerk Guy's mind and one day in Hans's mind.
I'd go Matt C.
You go Matt C.
I go Matt C.
Yeah.
He's the most stable out of the 3, I think.
If Matt C's ever the president of Michigan State, it'd be bad news for Haller. That's all I know. That's all I know. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for producing our show, with your takes and conversation. We really do very much appreciate it. We appreciate Midtown Brewing Company. Go to it's at 402 South Washington Avenue. Just an unbelievable place for any occasion, including like if you want to have some sort of like graduation dinner or lunch or whatever it might be. They do those really, really well at Midtown Brewing Company. We appreciate Xfinity Comcast. I use Xfinity Stream. I absolutely love it. I'm telling you, they've got great deals for new customers as well. We appreciate, of course, Muskox Quality Flannels. You'll see me in a Muskox Flannels a day, most days. Great in April, great any month of the year, even their swimwear line, which I'm now a model. And, of course, we appreciate Pure Options Craft Cannabis. We'll be back midweek. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.